like if I'm in a great mood, like if I'm just going to be playful, a couple of really huge personal negotiation wins recently was when I was just trying to be playful. I mean, I was in a great mood and I'm joking around. And great negotiation is not exciting, it's astonishing. We're in conversations right now with a possible non-scripted TV show. And so I was telling the producers, this ain't going to be Real Housewives. To make this show properly, there ain't going to be any screaming. It's not going to be Bar Rescue where we're yelling at people. We're not going to be Hell's Kitchen where we're yelling at people. It's never going to be exciting, but it is going to be astonishing. Like you'll get outcomes where suddenly you find yourself in a place like, what in the world? How did that just happen? And so I lose a suitcase in an airport the other day. And I'm walking into the lost luggage place. And I'm in a great mood because I'm home and I'm happy to be home. And I'm going to get a good night's sleep. And even though it's late in the day, I'm just happy. And I get ready to walk into the lost luggage store where these people are battered children. Like they expect you, they know that you expect them to wave a magic wand and poof, your luggage is going to be there. So for whatever reason, that's what I say when I walk in the door. This young lady says, how can I help you? Well, first of all, how you could help me is obvious because I'm in a lost luggage. There's only one reason I'm in here. So that's kind of a silly question. And I go, I need you to wave a magic wand. And she just laughs and she looks at me. She ends up walking me out to the carousel, climbing up on the carousel, and she walks down a ramp the luggage comes out of. And I guarantee you they're not supposed to do that. And she sticks her head in, she looks around, she comes back out. And I've never seen any of these people leave the office, let alone walk back to the carousel. And she says, wait here. And she disappears into the bowels of the airport, which looks like a superhighway down there, right? Like God knows what it looks like underneath the airport. And pretty soon the carousel starts up again and my bag and another bag pops out. This other poor schmuck is sitting there waiting. And I'm like, I have never seen anybody do this, ever. Like normally they say, here's a number, we'll call you in 24 hours. It might show up at your house. And I look around at there's another young lady there and I say, please tell her thank you for me. I got to go because she doesn't come back out for like almost 10 minutes. And on my way out, she comes out the door and she high-fives me and she says, how's that for waving a magic wand? And that was the magic phrase. And I never would have said it to her if I wasn't playful in a moment. And I've got a couple of others, like when I was just playful and I'm joking with people, almost at my expense, it's shocking, astonishing, what you can get people to do if you hit them the right way.
So interesting. I wonder what it tapped into, but it sounds like it might have tapped into her sense that everybody's always asking me for a magic wand kind of ability, but finally somebody just said it directly, and that would be kind of fun to actually play that role because normally they're restricted to their keyboard and their phone. And, I love that. On the opposite side of that spectrum, if ever you're feeling tense, stressed, jet lagged, angry, I can think about negotiations where like people are trying to keep their egos in check. They want to be right. Their breakups, negotiations, there's those not necessarily romantic breakups. It could include that, but also professional breakups, the dissolution of a contract or something like that. Do you ever have to check yourself? Like, okay, I need to, I imagine being calm is better than not being calm for most all things. Do you have a process of doing that? You seem like a pretty steady guy. I've never seen you
Overall, I'm pretty steady. The late night FM DJ voice that I'm not sure that I coined the phrase, but kind of famous for, to calm you down also calms me down. Mm-hmm. So if I get bent out of shape, I will, and the conversation gets heated, I'll switch into that voice with the intention of calming you down, because that's the hostage negotiator's voice. But it'll calm me down too, like intentionally going to that voice, tamps down the negative emotions, which I'm convinced make me dumber in the moment, interfere with my capacity to process information. Got reasons for that. Layman's reasons. No scientific, academically rigorous studies that have been in any journals.
Well, after you're done, I'm going to tell you something that will perhaps be astonishing to you as to why there's real neuroscience behind that late night FM DJ voice having an impact on other people's brains.
But and I'll do that because it calms me down. Now, if I can make the shift, the hard part is a shift into a positive mindset. If I can make that shift, but I can only make it from a calm voice. I also think the emotions are kind of a rock, paper, scissors sequence. I don't think you can go from sadness to elation directly. Sad, depressed, down. I think there's something to getting angry to pull you out of sadness. And I think if you're angry, you've got to go to calm next. And so, but if I can get out of anger and go to calm, then I can say something to myself like, the reality is this is a luxury problem. Or I was in a negotiation with a counterpart that I knew was deceiving, lying to me. And I remember saying to myself, I'm lucky to be in this negotiation. I mean, they wouldn't be trying to hustle me if we weren't really good, if we didn't have a product that was phenomenal. I wouldn't be targeted at all. So I'm actually lucky to be in this conversation. So if I can make that next shift emotionally, then I'm good. The hard part is making those shifts.
I'm going to just share with you what I learned recently about sound and emotion. I'm researching an episode on music and the brain. Fascinating topic.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there's a lot known. And the auditory system has this property where, of course, there are neurons, nerve cells that respond to different frequencies of sound. Low frequency, deeper tones, and high frequency, squeals and that sort of thing.
Right.
Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Just like we have neurons that respond to different colors or different angles of light in the room.
Right.
But what I learned, and I confirmed with a good friend of mine, who's an auditory neuroscientist and neurosurgeon, his name's Eddie Cheng, he was a guest on this podcast previously, is that low frequency sounds of the sort that your voice is, that late night FM DJ voice, are responded to in the brain by neurons, no surprise there, but the frequency that those neurons fire is also low frequency. In other words, when you speak in your low voice,
Right.
the other person's brain hears that and starts firing in a low frequency tone.
Right.
In other words, it entrains to your voice, not just the timing, but it's actually like you're essentially playing an emotional piano down in the low keys of their mind. Now, when you go up to the high frequencies, the neurons can't follow that high frequency. So there's something special about low frequency sound that actually changes the emotional tone of the people that hear that low frequency sound. This is wild, right? I mean, of course, the content of the words matters too. But anyway, there's real neuroscience to support the voice that you were endowed with and that you employed for your work.
Well, then also the point then too is the other side's not making a choice. It's an involuntary reaction.
That's right. This is not something one can override, except by perhaps plugging their ears.
Right.
If they're hearing that, their mind is getting shifted toward a state of low frequency oscillation, which is one of more calm.
Yeah.
So so that's a real thing. And were you to have a high squeaky chipmunk's voice, you might not have been the negotiator. You would, although who knows, maybe there'd be another tactic there. I mean, I think back to the I guess it was during one of the Gulf War campaigns where weren't they trying to squeeze out Saddam and some of his people by playing like Milli Vanilli at high volume for hours and hours. Is that tactic actually used?
So that was Panama when they were trying to get Noriega.
Okay, so
out of his
I'm only a few countries over.
Well, see,
I
and
got one ocean. Or
I got
two.
the trivia. Okay.
Okay.
I was telling you before, and the wacky, yet fascinating, useless information around terrorism and stuff like that. I tried that at Panama. And for whatever the military guys, they were playing music and sounds, and then also among the many stupid things that the FBI did at Waco. Then late at night, they tried that in the Waco compound too. And it was just, that was one of the things that the hostage negotiators were adamantly against, but they got overruled by on-scene command. Among the many stupid things that were done at Waco, that was also done at Waco. It was stupid, it's counterproductive. Hostage negotiators were always against it.
So for those of you who don't remember Waco is Branch Davidian's David Koresh, right?
Yeah, there was a Netflix series that was out about it recently that's fair, about how it went down.
Yeah, sad ending. He eventually set the building ablaze, killed himself and everybody else in it.
People inside set the building on fire.
Yeah, including a lot of children perished.
Including some children.
Yeah.
There are some FBI agents that have still not gotten over that.